declared that there is no hell.
And what a
Well,
great
there you have
opening.
it.
What a
You,
great
you,
opening to the episode. Hello and welcome
you
everyone
heard it from the man himself.
back to the Dumbass class for another episode of madness here in Siegfriedhoft. Last time the group got pretty drunk whilst they were, well, some of them did, whilst they were celebrating Keg's End, the Dwarven holiday. At least Azurf and Wilhelma, found out and actually, maybe a little bit foolishly, decided to pledge themselves to a quest into Mordheim at one point. We are still on the evening of Keg's End, as there is a raucous singing and cheering coming from downstairs. Meanwhile, upstairs, in your shared bedroom, Miss Lysiara is spending some time with her familiar.
Yep.
And
I'm
as
just playing with Boxbone. I already named it.
Why did
that's
you
your
name
name
your
for
familiar Barstool?
you've named your familiar Darkspawn.
No. Boxbone.
Barkspawn. Okay. Good
Barstool.
name. You spend some time with your familiar and you trying to zone out the noise that's coming on from downstairs. And you sit staring at Bathhound. And you look deep into his eyes and you feel slightly lightheaded as you sit down on your bed. You feel a rush come up from your stomach as your eyes roll into the back of your head. And you are in another vision. Again, you walk along a stony path, low to the ground, not so much looking around but sniffing the air. You appear to be again in a canine form, walking through a hazy mist, following a scent. The smell of home, the smell of new growth, of freshly cut grass. You follow this scent, but it is so vague and so slight that you look round and all you see is just a fog and a haze. And as you walk, your paws grind against rough stone and sharp glass. Before you realise, you look around and you are in ruins. Smashed windows, destroyed walls, carts overturned with what appeared to be the skeletons of the horses draped over the side of this ruined cart. You pay it no mind and continue to follow your senses. Drowning out the signs of destruction around you, you carry on, snout low to the ground. The smell of trees and sap getting ever stronger. As you continue to go deeper and deeper, you then look up as you hear noises, your ears twitch, and you hear the sounds of bone and flesh crunching, and the sound of metal being torn apart. And after a while, these noises drown out, they're gone, as the scent of the forest is almost overwhelming. You finally open your eyes and look up, and you look up. You crane your neck. You have to sit down to actually look all the way to the heavens as you look up at this tower of immaculate marble. And as you look back down towards the ground and blink, you open your eyes and suddenly you're in a room. Destruction and ruin is all around. There's burnt books and torn over tables and blood on the wall. But as you follow your senses yet again, the smell of pollen in the air, you look over and you see a cage made of roses and thorns. you notice, for some reason, these roses are blue and pulsating. And as you look, you see one wither and die as another sprouts anew. You look into the cage and you see a book. This book seems to be made of the very earth itself. You try to get closer, but something seems to push you back. You gaze at this book as if you are drawn to it, as if it cries out at you that it does not belong. The cover looks like silver oak, and the pages remind you of spring. Before you hear a familiar sound, a sound you once heard before but not in this form. You turn around quickly to see the town crier calls. His ghostly visage flies towards you, screaming and shouting before you awake, back in your room. Your familiar pawing and whining at your feet.
Oh, that's someone I didn't want to see on my visions. What is the town crier doing in my visions now? What is that book? Are my visions telling me to head towards the ruined city, perhaps? I'm gonna pet Boxbone, and I'm actually going to go down towards the town. I need a drink after this.
Sure. You will be able to write down that you have spent 2 days with Darkspawn rather than 1. Barkspawn.
Barstool, yes.
As you head down, you realise it is getting quite late, and in fact the raucous singing from downstairs has turned far more into a drunken wail. As you make your way down to the bar, you notice a few of your comrades. At least one of them's asleep on the bar, and one other is struggling to kind of stay conscious.
Luciera probably looks really
God,
pale.
that elf snores.
Who's the elf sleeping in the bar? I'm just gonna shake my head. I'm gonna look at Warhammer, barely standing still. Do I see Billy Bob or Gabrielle anywhere?
Miss Gabrielle is here. I believe she refrained from intoxicating herself.
She wasn't involved in the drinking in the first place. She was being entertainment.
You can see Billy Bob is...
He's left by now.
Oh yes, he has actually left. He's
Not
not
the
here.
nth degree.
Nine in the seven, boys.
I only had one shot of Bugmans.
You can
And
see
I
that...
just failed the test.
You can see that Bill looks kind of pleased with himself. And Ted is crying about his hair being missing. And as you look, he is bald. He is as bald as a baby's bum.
What on earth did I miss? What happened this day?
There are also a few dwarves who are basically passed out as well.
Wait, the dwarves passed out?
They were drinking from sunup, and it's dark.
This is abundance.
Mm-hmm. This
They
is
can drink
good
it hard,
shit.
and really hard.
Even with consumed alcohol as a skill, there's a good chance you will fail to pass a Bugman's test.
I only barely failed.
I'm gonna take it a light ale because I can drink, I believe, up until my bonus without
Yeah.
having to
Yeah,
Or
you can
something
drink. You
good.
can drink to your bonus. Technically, you're drunk if you drink up to your bonus, but you don't have to roll for stinking drunk.
Yeah. I'm just gonna drink a shot of something just to help me focus and stop being pale because of the vision.
Sure, it's 2 silver for a shot of whichever spirit you'd like, except from brandy.
Actually, I need to check that. I don't know if I have money. I do have money. There you go.
Did you ever
You all
pay me
have a
back?
large amount of money in your cart.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna take from the cart yet. I'm using my money.
Wait, we have cash in a card?
And items.
Like, I know about the items, but cash.
Yeah, there's cash on the cart. It's not much, but there's cash. It's for picking up emergencies in the event that, for example, Azurath forgets to buy feed. Bill or Ted can just take money out the cart.
I'm not gonna mess with that. I still had 10 shillings, so I'm just gonna use 2 of those.
Plus, Gabrielle's sober and is carrying around nearly enough to buy a horse.
Since Gabrielle isn't entertaining people and singing and dancing or whatever she does, I don't know. I'm gonna go.
Everybody's drunk.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
go.
quite late at this point. It's probably about 10, 11. Things are definitely like quietening down.
I'm gonna go tap Wilhelma on the shoulder and see if she's able to just walk back to the room and go to sleep before she, passes out. And I'm gonna see if I can take. God damn it! I always forget the name. Azura back to the room because, yeah, no drinking in a bar.
I mean,
If I can, I'm gonna leave him there.
It's probably gonna take me a while, but I'm not that drunk to not make it up the stairs.
I mean, you can always crawl up the stairs. It's fine. Actually, how hard would it? He's passed out drunk. I'm probably not gonna be able to carry him alone. I'm gonna leave his in the bar. I don't have levitate. I think. Let me see. I have move, but move isn't enough to carry him.
So if you're talking about Azurath, by all means, Gottfried, is that his name? I think it's Gottfried, the bar owner, owner. He isn't drinking, so he could assist you. It's Gottfried. He could assist you, but at the same time, he doesn't look like he cares. It kind of looks like he's just watching over them and being like, yeah, no one will steal from you, but you can sleep where you lie. The dwarves have paid. Well, Hagrid did pay for the bar to be rented out to the dwarves. So,
Yeah, like I said, yeah. He's probably still watching over other people. I'm not gonna bother the divine. I'm gonna let Ezra sleep. Probably gonna wake up fucked up because he's sleeping in a weird position, but yeah. I'm gonna take Wilhelma to the room because she's still awake, and then I'm gonna just go sit down and down my drink. Yeah. Can I roll first? After I take Wilhelm, I want to roll probably academic knowledge to see if I can figure out what that book is.
sure, you can roll. You can roll your arcane, or technically you could roll your elven home race. I'm pretty sure you and Azurath both have like the elven as a
I have
common.
elven common knowledge, but this would probably be magic elven,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean
I don't have magic elven yet.
you can roll for your elven common law,
Okay.
because that will, you'll have to roll well, a couple of successes at least, whereas for your magic it would be a success and you'd probably know something.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll academic knowledge first and then I'll roll. If you allow me, I'll roll for Nope. Can acknowledge that's not a good roll. Can I roll for? Actually, I'm gonna use my fortune because I never use fortune.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay, and with 3 degrees of success, I think that's more than enough. You would know that many magic books from the wood elves, from their sorcerers, their wizards and mages, will be made from things of nature. They genuinely wouldn't see the need to turn a hide into leather. They would happily use the bark that's been given from the forest. So you would definitely know that this is a wood. What's the word for the wood elves? It's not Dunmer. That's Elder Scrolls.
No.
Well, the wood elves anyway. You would definitely know that it's one of your people's books. You know for a fact that blue roses do not exist.
You mean the
Is it?
Azrai?
They are a complete myth. They don't exist, except from in magic.
Hmm.
Isn't it
Interesting.
Celia Vanica or something?
Excuse me. What did you
The
just
word
call
for
me?
what?
The word for the wood elves in Warhammer is Azrai.
Yeah, no, I was wondering what the wood elves call themselves, and I can't remember what it is.
I do believe it's Azrai.
It's like
Or,
Celia.
sons and daughters of Loren. They're known as
Azrai.
Azrai or Fey folk.
Okay,
Azrai,
so
like,
the Azrai,
like, so,
people. This
yeah,
is one.
yeah.
This is one of their books. You know that blue roses are a thing of magic and do not grow naturally. You would probably know that this is something that will take some research doing, to actually put together what book it could have been, what the roses mean. But let's say for an hour or half an hour of thinking about it, you definitely know this is something of your people's, and it was calling out to you.
Well, I guess I need to. Was either a dog or a wolf in my vision. I was falling ruined. Pass. Ruins and an ivory tower. I'm gonna go talk to the barman and ask him if if an ivory tower sparks something in his mind. It was ivory tower, right?
Yeah, well, it was a marble. It was a
Yes, sorry.
so
Yeah, sorry.
ivory. It would look, a white marble would look very much like an ivory tower. So yeah. Well, I can't say I'm too familiar, to be honest with you. I believe that there were several towers in Mordheim. Different mages and different guilds set up there. I'd ask Damatus. He's the only person I know who has ventured into Mordheim on several occasions.
Right. Who?
Damatus the Bloody, the leader of the warband of the Bloody Rain.
I forgot the name of the barman out of character. Could you remind me? I think Luciano should know.
Which name was
Yeah.
that?
It was Gregorius, wasn't it? The name of the barman?
The barman's Gottfried.
Godfrey. Sorry. Thank you, Godfrey. Do you know where I could find this Dominus?
Well, he's been hired by the Raven Guard as well, just like you have. I imagine he'll be back tomorrow or the day after. He's going to be angry. He likes Keg's End, and it looks like he's missed it.
I see. I'm gonna look around and say, yeah, he did miss a lot, apparently. Oh,
There's
thank you,
several
Godfrey.
people snoring heavily. It does appear as if Hagrin is still awake. He's kind of smoking his pipe.
Well, that reminds me, I need to buy a pipe in real life.
Of course you have to. 'Cause why wouldn't you?
Have to is the key word there.
Well, it's a, it was a great party indeed. Anyway, thank you. What time is it right now? This?
Let's call it
Very
around,
late, right?
Yeah, it's around between 11 and 12. It's around there. You've got enough time to have a drink, to, have a snack or something, but you would be looking to head to bed soon.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to visit Beliaris, but it's too late for this, and Beliaris is an old mayfly. So I'm just gonna snack on something, make some small talk with Hagrid if he's still able to, and then I'm gonna go back to bed. And small talk, I mean really small and fast talk, because I didn't really spend as much time with him as Azura, so.
Sure. He's in a bit of a funny mood. He does remember you. As you come over and introduce yourself, he's like, yeah, the finger wiggler who wanted to throw shit for some reason. I remember you.
Yeah, that.
So there's a bit of small talk regarding that, and
Yeah. I'll thank him again about the chains that I bought from him, and
Sure.
every time he says I carry pull, I make a frown, but I'm not gonna be mad about it. And then I'm just gonna go back to my room and go talk to Boxbone again.
Sure, you can do that. That's not a problem. So, let me have a think. As you go back into your room, I can't remember if we redid this, so you'll have to let me know, Lysiara. As you go back into your room, there's a bit of a pong. You sniff around a bit, and Barkspawn seems to look up at you, and he has a sniff, but he's not too sure what you're on about. And as you go closer to your robes, I imagine you've taken off your main travelling coat or whatever you have. One of your pockets smells rather funky, and as you pull out the parcel within, that butter's about a month old now. Probably should get some new butter.
For when you randomly find bread in the woods.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that happens, right?
Yeah.
It's not just me.
So
I need to ask you something privately, because this might be funny.
Is this where we find out his character has to have butter on him, otherwise he starts to have panic attacks?
I will say
No.
at the moment you are the no one else has declared that they're going off to bed, so
I am already.
Never mind. Then I'm just gonna toss it.
After finding some illegal drug and procuring it, I think my character will go to bed.
what kind? Because technically,
There's illegal drugs in this system.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the question. There's not
Probably
really.
are.
So technically, it's really difficult for illegality in this game. It's all done by province, and each province, a certain countellect, might have. I think she's asleep downstairs, or she's just hanging on downstairs. They'll have their own laws. So where poison is illegal in one province, it's perfectly legal in another. For Siegfriedhof, it's legal. It's just shush, kept under counter. If you have poisons out, they will arrest you. But it's a bit difficult to figure out what they'd do to you. As for illegal drugs, I really don't think there are any. You have some weed on you.
Also, do keep in mind, this is the days when this is actually old enough that cocaine is a painkiller.
Kind
Oh
of.
yeah.
I mean, it's not actually
I'll
in the
just probably
game.
go back
but...
and do some weed then.
Oh, I'm not gonna be there to see it. Shit.
Yeah, just
Does anyone remember what I did to Dukas'
you
weed?
sabotage the weed
I
with some like
remember.
grass, some actual weeds.
But I can't just cheat and go, no, I'm going to save the weed for a special occasion.
So,
I'm a hobbit.
so Billy Bob, you head back to the tavern, and you see, like, you open. No, let's say you look through the window, and you can see like some people are hanging on, and a lot of people are sleeping, and you kind of maybe you go in and get yourself a drink, maybe you don't, but you kind of think sitting outside and having a smoke seems a lot better. You look around, and there's almost no one around. You occasionally see a guard patrolling in the distance because of his torch. I believe I said it was going to be a minus 20?
It is 3 copper for a what's it? For
an ale?
drink.
I think it's 6 copper because you're doubling it.
It's 4 copper
4 copper.
or 4 pennies because it's bronze. Annoyingly,
Yeah, give me a minus 10 perception as you take out your little parcel of lullabutton weed, and you like.
Would
get
it be
your
a
pipe
minus
out.
10 if I know what it normally looks like because of my background?
So I remember Azoreth rolled really well to actually mix it in together. So there was a minus 10 because he rolled well.
Fate.
You have
You're
you have fortune,
fortunate.
so you know, and every game you regenerate one. So
every day it's not.
oh yeah,
games,
sorry,
it's one.
every day rather.
Ah.
So you take out a pinch and you look at it and you put it into your pipe and you sit there and you go to light up. You take a long hit. You know, it's been a while since you smoked any lullabutton weed from the moot. Make me a toughness test with. I'll say it's a straight toughness test, actually.
Someone please wake me up.
You start hacking and coughing as your lungs begin to burn, and you realise there's something wrong with this. This is not right.
I'll just think to myself, fuck, if our family had a feud.
Roll me. If you just roll me any 1d100. If you get, within 20%. So no, you don't know what's happened. This has never happened to you before. No one's put basil in your weed before. I think it was basil. It was a long time ago. But I think it was.
I put I specifically asked the owner of the bar for some basil to pull a prank on the halfling, and he said, "Sure, here's some."
And you're hacking and coughing and really like spluttering. You couldn't like hold it in, or hold back the coughing as you release the tainted smoke.
As soon as I stop coughing, I start going towards where the halfling is staying. My fellow halfling.
She's probably. I know she can sleep in her wagon, but she's probably staying in the tavern as well. I imagine she's probably asleep though, as it is quite late. We've said it's around between 11 and 12, and most people have been drinking fairly heavily. Not all.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, I'm gonna go wake her up.
You can do, by all means. You can do.
I'm just curious if I notice Billy Bob just walking through the bar with his weed probably still burning.
It goes out pretty fast if you don't pay attention to it. So it's probably like you get this tiny smell of weed as I'm like storming past and I go upstairs.
I'm also thinking that somehow the basil burns for narrative effects.
Yeah, I mean, so as Billy Bob comes in, you get the distinct, overwhelming smell of like lullabutton weed. If it's based on our world weed, yeah, he stinks of it because he's literally just had a big hit of it and then coughed it all over, so the smoke's all over him, and then he's kind of stomped upstairs.
It also helps I'm kind of having a break, and all the drunk people are going to be on the other end of the inn to the door.
I mean, no one really pays it any mind. I wouldn't actually. I'll roll a 1d100.
I am still fucking.
No, Hagrid
like-
was smoking normal pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
But
Can we
dwarves are
roll to
great
see if
lovers.
I have? Can we roll to see if I've actually woken up at this point, or am I still fast asleep?
Technically, I think you have to roll a 1d10 minus your toughness bonus for hours until you wake up.
He didn't actually enter stinking drunk where he passes out, so he was narratively passed out.
Oh yeah, because we didn't. We were saying he wanted to do the face down on the table asleep, so
Yeah.
he chose to. Yeah. So technically, yeah, you can stir if the coughing and the hacking.
He's still. I think he got to 3 failed drinks, so he's still taking like a minus.
2.
So he's taking a minus 20, I think, or minus 10.
I had 2 failed ones and 1 that was a critical success. So.
Yeah, I think because you had 2 fails, that's a minus 20 to all your everything, basically. I think.
It's hard, which
And
is minus 20.
then I barely woke up and I got offered some Buckmans and I took a sip and I just.
If you took a sip of Bugman's, then you're definitely stinking drunk.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm still asleep. Then.
So Billy Bob, you've been speaking to the halfling, so I imagine she's told you like what room she's in. You go stomping upstairs and you start banging on her door, and do you even try?
It
for
would
the
be like a
handle?
fast, quiet, constant knock.
Okay, yeah, a really.
It's an asshole knock.
Just
Yeah.
It's just an asshole knock. It's not even rude. It's just asshole.
continuing to knock quickly and quietly until she eventually notices.
You
comes
hear
open
the
to it.
sound of someone stirring, and then you hear a very distinctive. Sorry. You're not quite sure what that was, but for some reason, like the hairs on the back of your neck just stood on end, as you don't see any footprints, like you don't see any feet at the bottom of the door.
Is anyone else in the hallway with me?
No.
So as soon as I hear the click, I'll stop knocking.
Hello? Who there?
If anyone was in the hallway, they just sort of see a hobbit just like furiously knocking on a door, and then suddenly just stop and he's panicked. It's Billy.
You hear the latch on the door, and the door opens, and you see the halfling woman that you know, and in her hand she's holding a small, it's actually a very large pistol, but in her small hands it almost seems like a blunderbuss almost. Billy Bob, I'm sorry, and you hear that as she puts the flintlock back. Puts the lock back down. Sorry, gotta take precautions and all. What can I do for you?
Like, my mind will be like, do you want to piss her off when she's got a gun? And then, like, halfway through that sentence, I'm like, so, putting stuff on my weed, are you? Just a friendly joke, huh?
And then just as soon as you finish that, shit, I'm in too deep now.
What do you mean, Billy? I would never.
And then I hold it
tamper
up
with...
for her to smoke, like near enough to her mouth.
She takes the pipe and she kind of looks at you and she sniffs the contents.
I'm just looking at her as if to be like, yeah, you know what it is.
And she actually does take a little hit, very small. Like you can see her like doing little puffs on it to try and rekindle the what's in there. And she takes a little hit and Billy, did you piss someone off? That's not my. That's been tampered with. And it wasn't me.
I also like close one eye and raise another while I'm like my head sort of looks up a bit as if to be like, wasn't you, was it?
Well, of course it wasn't. You know how it is. I give away a free sample, you smoke it somewhere, and, all of a sudden they ask you for a toke and you send them my way. It was a business. She kind of looks like, I wouldn't do that to you. Well, not without being able to see it, to be there to enjoy the aftermath. You've got all
Wait.
all paranoid since you.
Check.
Who did you give the weed? You didn't give it to me. Who was it you gave the weed to?
On an 18, she remembers. I gave it to that elf. The male one. Azareth? Azareth.
I'll just sort of like slowly nod, and then like my anger sort of turns to like, I've got an idea, and then I'll go, sorry for waking you. Thanks for your time. I'll see you later then, I guess. And then I just instantly start walking towards where I think Azareth's belongings might be.
Sure. She has a bit of a puzzled look on her face, and like the sleep still in her eyes. So she kind of closes the door quietly, and you hear the lock just lock back up.
I kind of like twitch a little bit as if to be like, "Fuck, it's a good." Oh no, it's the door.
Yeah, it was the lock on the. It wasn't the cupboard.
Yeah, no, but for like a few seconds, I'm like, "Oh, what? Oh."
You would know that Azorov like wears most of his gear. He does have some.
I'm looking for his beer.
That's gone. He's drunk. He's drunk that. It's Keg's End. He drunk that with Hagrin and the other dwarves.
The keg is
the
currently
keg.
empty in Hagrid's house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
then.
keg
So when I
got
go into his
ended.
room to see if it's any left,
So
would I notice
here's
him
the
passed
thing.
out? Or...
Here's the thing. You've walked into a room where there is currently an ethereal hound. No, it's all right. I'm not going to make you roll for like terror or anything. Sure, you go in there. Miss Lysiara, did you say you were going straight to bed, or are you still?
No, I didn't do anything to get myself too tired. I'm spending time with Boxbone still.
Yeah, this is still in the evening. This is still in between that. No, you're downstairs, aren't you? So you were having a drink downstairs.
I did say I was going to drink and eat something small.
Yeah, so
Just
you would have seen Billy Bob, like, you would have heard him cough. I'm sorry, this is a little bit confusing because it's in that hour where everyone's moving around in the same sort of space. You'd hear him cough, you'd see him stomp in, you'd smell the smell of weed. So you wouldn't be there. So I imagine your hound has made himself, invisible because the master's not there.
Yeah.
So Billy Bob, you walk into an empty room.
I mean, if you want him to see the box one, I don't mind. It might be funny.
And then he tries to kill it.
He can't kill. It's an ethereal fiend.
And then he tries to kill it.
So
I didn't say be successful. I said tries.
it doesn't startle me, does it, or anything?
No, technically, you don't see it. It's not there. It has not made itself present to you. So
You can
imagine
sleep.
that room is just empty.
You've been sleeping in the same room as it for a couple of weeks, like on and off, whenever we've been in the inn.
Technically, box one was asleep most of the time in the church.
So where is this fucking elf then?
Passed out downstairs.
Technically,
Oh, I would've
being watched over by Gottfried.
So he's downstairs then, or
Yes. So as you make your way downstairs, you look about the bar, and along with the sleeping dwarves and a few dwarves who are still standing, a couple of your teammates, one of them who's only just about clinging on, you see Azorov, who is asleep on the bar, snoring. Well, not on the bar, on a table, snoring.
okay then. So with the beer that's in my left hand that I bought and I still have, I'm gonna put his hand in it.
Wait, you put my hand in what?
Sure.
You put my
Mhm.
your hand in my beer.
This is such a fucking cold. This is such a fucking cold joke.
Okay,
Told him that.
I just
Can I
like.
roll like some sort of stealth so no one notices me do it or something?
You
No,
can't.
I'm gonna say exactly how Azuraf responds. He's like,
If
he
Luciara
grabs,
sees, she's
he,
not gonna mind.
the hand goes in the beer, and then you see Azuraf stir, and he's like, he, like almost automatically just grabs the tankard and just slides it closer to his mouth.
Like when I see you move, I'll like roll under the table and just like sit there for a bit.
I would probably say you can't stealth in this place because there are too many people
Or
who
at
are.
least be less noticeable.
So, if you wanted to do something with sleight of hand, slip something in someone's drink, do something like that, that would be doable. You just moving around and like sitting on by a table, and that's not conspicuous. You know, you're just acting normal.
Okay then.
But for you to stealth or to move around sneakily, there are too many eyes in this room who are looking around and doing
Wouldn't
jobs.
he need to roll to do something in his sleep? Or
I would probably say, Jay, if you roll a 1d100, I'll give you a 50-50 of what you described happening. So you don't awake. Your hand goes.
I know.
into
I
the
didn't
beer.
say I was. I didn't say I was waking up. I said this is like a
Yeah,
a half sleep
pull
sort of
it- you pull
reaction,
it
like
closer
automatic,
to
like automatic, like oh beer. I'm half asleep. It's like more beer.
So what you do is you reach out and Billy Bob lifts your hand up and your fingers go into the pint and you kind of half asleep just kind of and you lift your hand up with the pint and you place it next to you and you put your hand on top of your head on top of your hand with your fingers inside the pint glass and you're beer and you kind of just carry on dozing there, your fingers in the beer, just kind of. Every now and then, people hear you just mutter like, "That Bugman's." So, as this happens, Billy Bob, maybe you spend a moment with Alicia and Miss Gabrielle, as they're the two of your group who can still like engage in a proper conversation. Miss Wilhelma every now and then putting in a drunken splurge. You all go to sleep, and you awake in the morning. Unless there was anything that you guys wanted to do whilst you're drinking.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that with the amount of time, like Thingy would have to make tests after drinking. Well, how would be making tests after drinking that Bugman's? She probably passed out downstairs still. Just because
She's not that drunk.
you drank a Bugman's.
If she stopped drinking, technically she doesn't have to.
Bugman's does kind of say that if you fail, it's like failing 3 times. You did fail, so you are technically really drunk. I don't think you rolled on the stinking drunk, but we'll say that you're.
I don't think we did.
We'll say that you're carried, you're helped to your bed, whereas Azuraf, they kind of look at him and go, he's going to be a lot heavier and a lot more awkward. Let's just let him sleep there.
Also, you have to actually try and keep your bearings when you're stinking drunk. If you don't, it's like every round. Here, roll stinking drunk.
So the night passes. Azuraf, can you please make me a toughness test with a plus 20? No, a plus 30.
Is this to see if the law of similarity kicks in?
I want to see if he pees himself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the law
I'll
of
be
contagion.
sat in the corner of the room all night just waiting for him to piss himself.
If you do that, then I believe you would probably take fatigue. Well, one night. I mean, you did have a. No, I'd probably give
I'm probably
you
like
one
I
night
sit
of
there with my
sitting
eyes
on your
closed,
ass.
and then every like so many minutes, I'll like open them and look down, and then go, oh, it's not pissed. Then look, I just go back to resting.
Where you're not drunk, I would probably give you that you would be able to nap, because after all the drinking stops,
I'm
Gottfried
not
his
drunk though.
yeah, where you're not drunk.
I'm not though.
Yeah,
I've had.
Yeah, that's the point.
yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
Dude.
oh, sorry.
Gottfried, his sister, and her daughter would be going round and clearing up, and so you would be able to nap because there's noise going on that would probably prevent you from falling fully asleep. So you'll be very tired tomorrow, but I'll say that you can kind of doze in and out. So Azurath, can I get a toughness test with a +30?
Well, the plus the
He is a grown adult. I mean, and it wasn't a
He's
warm
also-
drink.
Here's the thing. He's
probably
also
becomes
unconscious.
warm before he wakes up. Oh.
Azurath,
thought-
you do not
Hello?
pee yourself.
I'm pretty sure that during my sleep, though, however, I somehow knock over the beer and get it on my head.
You just roll over slightly and then it falls.
Yeah, you
But-
kind of you go to wipe some drool with the hand that's in the pint, and it falls over and just kind of dribbles all over the table and all on your legs, but you're too drunk, you sleep through it.
Also,
If I'm still awake at that point, I'll replace the drink. I'll ask for lukewarm water.
They wouldn't give it to you. Like
I just ask for normal water,
at this time, we're talking really early in the morning, where possibly they've already gone to sleep and everything's been tidied up and things have been put away. You know, plus he's passed his toughness test, so unfortunately, RNGesus was with him.
also, you can only get away with you trying to use the law of contagion so much. You don't want to use it against you. Because there is a law for this in Magic.
So everyone, in other words, two of you, can you roll me 1d100, and that's how bad your hangover is. Essentially, you don't, you haven't taken a job yet, so at the moment you're okay. So it'd be Miss Wilhelma and Mr. Azurath. Your time as a Marine has treated you well, as you've spent many a time drinking and celebrating, and your hangover is pretty tame. You wake up, you're like, wow, maybe I'm still drunk. Huh. Breakfast. Sounds good. And Jay, can we get another D100 for you for how bad your hangover is?
My
Shit.
my head hurts.
It's
The
been a
elf
long
cannot
time.
Drink.
It's been a long time, Azurath, since you've really let loose like that, and especially with dwarves. And you feel like death warmed up.
I fucking love this pain. It tells you you're alive.
He's a
I
fucking
hate this.
Slaneshi.
I hate it at the same time though, because fuck, it is painful.
I was hoping for some natural hundreds. You vomit everywhere!
Also, don't say that. Slanesh is even possibly worse than this system.
So as you awake, you go downstairs, you all have breakfast. Some of you are in better states than others. Azurath, you actually wake up in the bar and kind of, there are several dwarves around you who are also like keffed out in the bar.
I attempt to just stand up. I'm like, no, wait, not gonna happen.
You're very moist around your legs.
I'm gonna have some water. Ice. I must right. Ow. My head hurts.
Without much tempting, I can't remember what her name is. The sister of Gottfried sees like stirring, and a couple of the other dwarfs' shoulders begin to rock and their heads begin to come back, and you can definitely hear someone throw up somewhere in the bar. And food almost instantly comes to the table, and a big pitcher of water and cups, and the smiling face of Gottfried's sister, who I didn't find the name because I forgot.
I just take the entire pitcher of water and I'm like, this.
Beatrix, don't you worry now. We'll get you another. She calls out to her child.
I just fucking go down as low as possible and just stop. Just like, okay, water, drink, a lot.
Turns out she's drinking the clothing water.
And soon you find that there have been sausages and eggs and all manners of goods, and bread, toasted and untoasted. All manners of good things for those of you who have had a long night drinking. And in fact, for those of you who haven't been drinking either. It doesn't seem as if Hagrid spared any expense when he put down his gold.
Also helps that I've been like, yeah, I'll do more work for you guys. You can keep all the money.
Yeah. Like, after I drink this entire pitcher empty, like, okay, that should last me for now. I just go like, food. And I just grab a bunch of toast, a bunch of sausages, and just throw it on my plate, and I just start.
So, just to remind everyone, the quests that you have been given at the moment, there is a big game hunter who wishes to speak to your group, but was more interested in speaking with Billy Bob. There is a quest for the Raven Guard, which is, it can be started when you like, essentially. But they would prefer, not in a month's time.
Well, let's do our friends. Because Gabrielle would mention that she likes the Raven Guard. They pay well, and they're responsible for us getting everything cheaper. So let's do jobs for them.
There is wisdom in these words.
That one's done. Girl in the Grim, that one's done. Yeah, I believe that's the 2 quests that you have. Another reminder of things that have been going on in town. I'll say that we'll skip to kind of afternoon, so those of you who do have a hangover have a chance to heal up. For those of you who walk around town, you notice that people seem to be more on edge. They don't seem to be... I mean, a lot of them look hungover as you look round. A lot of the people here did indulge in the Dwarven holiday. But then you see other people who are genuinely... They don't look like they're hungover. They just look like, everywhere they go, they're kind of checking down alleyways, and they're making sure that there's no one there or nothing going on. There have been 2 or 3 murders. I can't quite remember now. We'll say 2 for the minute. 2 prostitutes have been killed. One prostitute was the one that Billy Bob slept with in his first night in town. The other was another, same district, same kind of background, no family members in Siegfriedhoft. You would also know from the buzz around town that a lot of the beggars and a lot of the poorer folk went out with a warband and, you know, were casualties, and everyone's a bit down with that, you know, again, these bandits have causing, you know, more losses in the town.
This Yara would like to go visit Beliaris at some point during
Sure.
this day, but
We will say that you, because you didn't drink, we'll say that you can do this in the morning before the afternoon kicks in if you want.
yeah, I was thinking about getting breakfast, eating,
Sure.
seeing all the drunk people still drunk and asleep. Then I would head off to Beliaris. The thing is, I don't know if Beliaris indulged in drinking, so if I couldn't find a shop, I would leave it be until the afternoon. But
After you finish breakfast, you go outside and you can sense where the shop is. It doesn't seem as if he is closed at this moment in time. So by all means, you can walk down the street and using your senses find his shop.
the entire party knew about these murders, right?
Yes.
Can I roll something?
Sure. What would you like to
I
roll?
would like to roll academic knowledge magic to see if this could be linked somehow to the book that was given to Boris.
Sure, you can roll.
We gave a book to Boris.
No. Beliaris gave a book to Boris, and no, I didn't. I failed. So never mind.
So after having a think as you make your way to the shop, you open a door and you see inside Boris. He appears to be in better spirits, like the kind of hunched over form of the depressed Boris of when you first met him. He seems to have straightened up now. He seems to have possibly found a bit of pride or found a bit of reason to carry on.
Can I raid the winds of magic around this place with magical sense?
Sure.
God damn it.
You have fortune.
No, I don't. Actually, I used it yesterday, remember?
Yeah,
All
you have
of it?
slept. You have slept, so you could regain
I
one.
have slept?
Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
so
you
I
only have one fortune?
No, I have two, but I only regenerate fortune when I sleep. And so I still have one, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave it be.
Okay. As you walk in, Boris looks up. Miss Lysiara. He kind of gives you a curt little bow, as if addressing a senior. In fact, it's good to see you again.
I'm gonna put down my hood. Good morning, Boris. Is Mr. Balthazar awake, or did he indulge with the rest of the people yesterday?
Oh, yes, he's in his study. We had a little drink, but the master teaches us, well, taught me anyway, that indulging can lead to accidents, and he kind of gets a sheepish look on his face. Accidents have followed me in the past, but
Yeah.
not anymore. And as he says that, he does have a more determined look on his face.
As for us mages and who, well, deal with the winds of magic, we should never indulge out of our, well, agreeable endurance because, well, accidents do happen.
Give me a perception test.
Do?
Just as you're having this conversation and as you're, looking, oh, Beliaris is in there. Okay, how you doing? You would see that Boris actually has a bag and he is putting things into said bag. Books, parchments, quills.
Planning on a delivery, Boris, or just traveling?
Well, the master believes that it is time for me to go to the Mages Guild. I am to leave in, well, whenever the next typhon goes out, which is well, within the week, I suppose.
I see. Well, that is the correct place for you, Boris. You should meet wonderful new teachers and colleagues there. You're gonna feel right at home. And you won't be just one of two in town anymore. You should be happy.
We will see about that. I've got the master to allow me to take several of the orphaned children's. They won't do any good being in this place. Too many sad memories. So he's been very gracious and paid for them to go to the college along with me. Hopefully they may become something of themselves, as hopefully I will.
Hopefully, indeed. You're talented, Boris. Don't worry. I'm sure you have a bright future ahead of you. Well, hopefully the children do.
I'm quite sure you have a far brighter future ahead of yourself than I, Miss Yara.
Well, Boris, I may not be a mayfly, but my future is, well, still cloudy for me. Is the master currently passed out, or he's...
No, he motioned to the room where he normally is in.
I'm gonna give a small nod to Boris, and I'll knock on the door to, Beliaro's room, and then I'll go in.
By all means, come in. Miss Lysiara. Well, it had to be, pretty much had to be you, didn't it? Not many mages come through here.
Yeah, I did realize that. Good morning, Balthazar. I hope you're well.
Very much so. I see you've not indulged in last night's revelries like the rest of the town.
No, most certainly I would not. I need to keep my wits about me.
But of course. How can I help you this fine day? Please come have a seat.
I'll take a seat. Balthazar, I'm looking for a... I heard of this, well, ivory, maybe marble tower near some ruins. Does this information spring anything up to your mind?
Well, around here, the only place that could be is Mordheim. But here, if you he motions with his hand, and a parchment comes over, and he unrolls it and he shows you, and it's a map of Mordheim, and he's seems to have taken the original map, and through eye accounts he's marked up where the actual impact of the meteorite.
Currently I can only see darkness.
Oh, sorry about that. So you have to accept all maps as being with fog of war until you reveal said maps.
I know.
Here we go. Huzzah!
Ooh. Okay.
Well, you see, the only ivory towers is, well, there are several in Mordheim, but Do you describe exactly what you saw in your vision?
Not exactly, but I try to describe as close as possible without giving away that I do see visions.
Okay. Um, so out of what you tell him without saying that, I see visions and this is what I see,
Yeah.
he
Well,
points out that, well, the only ruins that really match that description would be the Tower of Shadows in Mordheim, and well, the Tower of Light. Both of them were areas of magic during well, they were built there for magic. They had greatness written about them, but well, didn't last, did it?
hmm.
But around in the countryside, there are, well, leagues away. But I'm guessing you're talking about in Siegfriedhof's borders.
Most likely it would be. Tell me, what can you tell me about Mordheim's common crier?
He kind of gives you a look, like his eyes kind of open up a little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
how do you know of him?
Well, let's just say I have seen him already once. While we were going up north to a woodcutter's camp, well, I
Looked
appeared
too
into
long,
Mordheim.
did you? He gives you a knowing smile as he says that.
Yeah, I need to know what I'm dealing with. My path will take me through Mordheim at some point, so.
He is a spectre. Many have seen him. There are many accounts. He seems to be some sort of doomseer. As far as... And he motions with his hand again, and another book slots out of the bookcase behind him and comes down and opens up, and you can see that there are handwritten notes in common that, are different accounts of people who have seen him and what's happened after. Well, it seems that normally when he appears, that shortly after something else will appear. It's never the same thing. Some accounts say of well, cultists, those who believe in the darker gods. Some accounts have had beastmen appear, or even an orc warband. It always seems to... We're not... Some believe that he may even be warning individuals, but everyone who sees him, apparently a lot of the men get caught in a fear. They can't move, and then and he kind of gives you a knowing nod that you know what happens when men don't move and another warband comes along.
Yeah. That basement, you say?
Oh,
No,
there are all sorts in Mordheim.
on my way back, I did see something lurking in the shadows too. It had a tail. Beastmen are never a good sight, but
I
uh,
would not speak of this to anyone else. What's the tail? The creature? Can you describe it?
yeah, it was skinny and rat-like.
Ah, that was no beastman. Well, at least not to my studies. That is a Skaven. They are a type of beastmen, yes. You must keep this information quiet. Many a man has ended up in the stockades for mentioning the rat men. If you and your party should ever come across them, those who cannot keep their mouths shut, call them beastmen. It is far less damning, as it were. They are an evil creature. and he gives you a look of like a granddad telling you, don't go to this dangerous area. I know it's fucking dangerous. These are evil beyond an orc's savagery for combat, or these creatures genuinely seem to, from what I can gather from whispers and tomes, they enjoy being sadistic, evil.
Sierra will hold her chin as if she is in deep thought. Seeing as how I am an elf, a Nazrai at that, would I think I know about Skaven, but do I need to roll anything to remember them?
I
I do know.
would want an intelligence roll from you, because as far as I'm aware, the Skaven have never entered the your people's
Athelwarren.
As
No,
far as I
but-
know, the Skaven tunnels have tried to penetrate the forest on many occasions, but the actual forest itself repels them.
Yeah, no, what I'm thinking more along the lines is that I know about the stories of them. So
If I'm correctly, like with the elves, it's like the elves are the only people who could know the Skaven exist. They just refuse to acknowledge it.
So
Because they
the
can't be wrong.
high elves have been besieged by the Skaven. The high elves have actually had dealings with Skaven. The wood elves
Only outside of Ulfheim itself, though, because
Yes.
Ulfheim is so magically
Yes,
protected,
no,
it
I'm-
instantly murders all Skaven to try
in
to
their
save them.
colonies, and because Skaven are in Nagaroth, well, in that region of the map. So high elves, I would give more where you're a wood elf, and your people
Yeah.
have never been besieged by Skaven. Yours would be a more difficult role to.
yeah, I was just more thinking along the lines that since I'm a mage and I'm also an elf, I would possibly know about the
In
stories,
fact, you'd be more knowledgeable about beastmen, so you could probably, I would imagine you'd be able to know off by hand that you've never seen a beastman of that stature, an Ungor, which is the lowest rank of beastman, is a lot bigger than a
Yeah.
Skaven, so you could put those two and two
I'll-
together.
I'll roll intelligence. 'Cause,
I would give you a +10. Oh, you succeeded anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would, after sitting back, thinking about and talking with another mage and talking it through, you've never seen a beastman that looked like that, and you've never heard of a beastman that looks like that. And I'll give it to you that you've seen a lot of different types of beastmen, if not the trophies that your people collect, or them actually alive and you pushing them away from your forest.
I mean, I think we watchers, if somebody steps into the forest, people get killed, so Balthazar, do you have any books or anything I can study about these Skaven? And what you're describing me does not look like any beastman I know of, and I don't know if I heard stories of these people before. I can't remember it clearly, but I feel as if I need to go to Mordheim. There's something there I need to take.
He sits back in his chair and puts his hands together and gives you lets out a long sigh with a knowing nod. Many of us are drawn to Mordheim. I understand, my dear. I do have some literature on the subject, although many of these are quite important to me.
If it wouldn't be too forward, Balthazar, if you could allow me to study here in your shop, I'd be truly grateful.
By all means, if you wish to study the books that I have here, by all means you may. I do have, and he pulls out a stitched book. This is an extra that I have. However, I would be loath to just give it away. Its value is. He gives you a look. I would be willing to part with it at cost, but it is 100 gold crowns.
Hmm. Unfortunately, I don't have that type of money in me unless you'd be willing to trade. The only thing of value I currently have is, well, I pull out the book I have.
What book do you have?
It is a printed book, which I believe is also 100 crowns.
I really wish it had said you had like said a glued printed book or a stitched printed book or an illuminated print. Okay, so he looks at the book that you're offering. What's it on? Like, what's this book about?
Probably elven stories. I'm an elf.
Okay. You would probably need to do a charm roll to for him to do a straight like for like switch, because unfortunately he doesn't have much interest in your people, or at least about their fairy tales.
Yeah, see, now I wouldn't know exactly what it would be. I just thought of elven stories and stuff like, but yeah,
He
I'll
would he would
try a
because
charm roll, but
you are a patron of his. You do come in and you have done jobs for him. He would be
Yeah.
willing to give you the book and expect the money, within a month, as a an IOU kind of a deal.
I could attempt that, but I can always just sell the book to the meerkat guy.
That is also
Hmm.
true.
So no. I will
So in fact,
take the loan.
what I'll do is, if we say that it's a book on it has a magical tone to it, as in it does teach you the basics of a magic of your people, or something along, there's a real interest for him, he would be willing to switch it, because you could literally just sell one book and buy the other, because he's not putting any taxes or anything on it. So
Yeah, and well, like Gabriel did mention in chat, it is a book that comes with being an apprentice mage, so it probably has a magical tone to it. Yeah, I guess I'll make a trade.
sure. So you now have a so this is, just to make sure, it is a stitched printed book. So in the book, in the old world armory, it's 100 gold. This is, you can write down, it is a book on Skaven.
I'm just gonna update the printed book I have to stitched and book on Skaven.
And Beliaris tells you, he like leans in and, do not let anyone find that book. If they I imagine Branda would be far more forgiving, but if some other baron or lord or sheriff were to find you with that book, the punishments
Yeah.
would be heavy.
I will not let this book leave my sight, don't worry. And I'll pocket it.
Sure.
I do need to ask too, looking at he did take a parchment with records of people seeing the town crier. Are there
That's
any?
like his handwritten journal.
Yeah, but does anywhere in his journal mention the town crier actually appearing in your dreams or visions?
No. So your first experience was very much like, you can read other people's accounts, and that's very much what happens, and then something comes afterwards, like an attack from something, an ambush, or just a magical trap, or something exploding.
Yeah.
But with the
That's
dreams,
ominous.
that seems to be However, you would note that he doesn't have any mages written down. Like, and he has written like John Benwood, adventurer, fighter, Martin Matthews, adventurer, ranger. You know, he's written down like their class. You know, he's also written down if they're human, dwarf, halfling. He's kept quite good account of these things. But you would, after scanning through like let's say 5 or 6 pages, you'd see there aren't any mages on there, and there's no like it came at me in my dreams.
Yep. Okay. Just making sure. And if no, he didn't ask, so I'm not gonna say. But okay. I think I'm gonna stay in his study for a little bit and talk to him about Skaven and stories and whatever he can tell me that might not be on the book. And I'll just stay here for a while.
Sure. He would probably impart the knowledge that the Skaven have, which something that's not in the book, that the Skaven seem to have the ability to appear from almost under the ground. They almost seem to just appear. And he knows you well enough now to let you know that he, in fact, with someone else's help, he performs a ritual that surrounds the town in a barrier that seems to be like an early warning signal if something were to go, and he tells you that it goes all the way round, and it was extremely difficult to fasten, to make this ritual, because it had to go through the ground itself, and it had to in a complete circle around a sphere.
Oh. So is that what I see every time I get into town?
But he only tells you that he gets help. He doesn't mention the individual who helps him, and if you do like press him for this, so who else? Another mage must have to. He will not. He just clams up.
I won't press him, but I think I have an idea who it might be, but I'm not gonna press him. Oh, I'm keeping secrets. He should be able to keep his.
I tell you what. After I'll just roll a d100. That's a lot quicker, and I can look it up. You get on quite well with Beliaris. He doesn't give you any more information than what he's given you, like about himself, like letting in that, you know, he does keep his secrets. He doesn't give you any more information. Is basically where
Yep. No, it's fine. I won't pry. Oh.
As you look at the map, however, can you... I'll tell you that you mention the Black Pit settlement. It's at the very bottom of the map. You do bring that up, and he tells you that settlement was actually fortified at one point, but abandoned. Apparently they couldn't afford to pay to get the walls put up, or something happened. You know, there was a falling out, and he actually, as a younger man, actually went there, and that was somewhere where he was in his adventuring days. He tells you that he was actually, you know, part of that group, and that's where his fascination with studying Skaven has kind of come in, from a bit of first-hand experience, and that will probably be the last. Would you meet up with the group at about like 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
I would most likely.
Okay, cool. So the rest of the group, Azurif, you're now feeling much better after having a few hours to kind of get your shit together. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to do in those couple of hours?
I would approach Hagarin for another piece of equipment.
Sure. Um, I'm going to roll a 1d100 for Hagrid. There's a knock. You knock at the door. The forge is off. Everything seems to be kind of closed.
Well, if he's not in, then he's not in, I guess. I mean, it is straight after Bugman's, so after Keg's End, so.
Well, I gave him a 50-50 chance of being up or asleep, and he rolled a 60, so he's asleep. He's still recovering.
It's not pressing or anything.
You probably tripped over him going out and just forgot.
I mean, let's be honest, getting the rest of the things I want for my advance is going to be a bitch.
What advance is it?
Honestly, I'm indecisive. I am split between Judicial Champion, which I already spent a lot of gold on, or Duelist. But Duelist requires a pistol. Which maybe if I talk with Engineer, maybe I could, but I don't know. Still thinking about it.
Keep in mind, you can always go to the other one later.
True.
But anyway, so for me, I guess gossip, get rumors around town. I mean, everybody who would be a merchant is currently recovering from being drunk, and I don't really want to buy anything. So, get the feel of town, because I want to know what's been happening with everybody getting drunk. Let's get some rumors. And no.
The people are just really hungover. As you look around, it seems like there's a lot of aching heads in the part of town that you're in, and you kind of think, yeah, best leave them be. Even the children. Even the children
are drunk. They've had that many half ales.
Of course, all their parents were pissed, so they were like, huh. Does anyone notice if I grab this? No? Oh, brilliant. Chug.
Also, here, have this water. And because it's the medieval era, times water is actually just a half ale, and they've been drinking a lot of water, quote unquote.
If they can work in a factory, they can get pissed. Why not? You all regather about lunchtime. You see that Azurath and Miss Wilhelma are well and truly recovered by now. And you make your way to the Raven Guard. Was that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, because none of us actually really cared too much about Billy Bob meeting a random stranger.
I don't think Billy Bob would.
I know, it's just like, none of us really care about the guy who wants to meet you at the moment, or we got people we like to work for.
Fair enough. As you walk into the Raven Guard's outpost in town, the guards pay you no mind now. They're well aware of who you are and the fact you work for them. You walk in, they don't stop you. You knock on the door and Branda calls for you to enter. I see you're all doing quite well. You don't seem to be too green.
The festivities aren't my thing.
I'm going at the best time of my life. Again. Best birthday in 5 decades.
For someone who hangs out with dwarves a lot, you really don't have a great constitution.
I'm sure I can drink you under the table.
That's not what I saw last night.
You didn't drink as much as me.
I drank exactly as much as you did.
Okay, ladies, look, I've already had to break a few fights up between my guards. Their shenanigans last night.
I count that as an insult, but a fair one.
So I'm guessing you're ready for the next part of the job.
Ready as one might be. What's on the menu?
Okay. Now I'll be explaining this to the other two warbands once they get back. We're sending out the tide for Siegfried Haft. We're sending off the coppers to get them, written up. Get the accountants for Sterling to see that we're producing, we're offering. However, that means transporting a large amount of gold across country when we're already besieged by bandits.
Escort duty.
Well, no.
Got it.
No. We've decided that there are some things going on in Siegfried Haft, things I'm not too pleased about. So I'm sending 3 wagons, 3 lots of gold. Well, kind of.
Let me guess. 2 are decoys.
No, all 3 have things of value, but it's just a different sort. So your group will be taking the gold. Easy enough. The Bloody Rain, their group will be taking gold and jewels. I can trust Amatus. He's a rough sort, but well, yeah, I trust him. The warband of the Wolf, they're good, but their attrition rate is terrible. And I've got my doubts about them, but there aren't any more competent, warbands in the area. Everyone does seem to have their woes at this time, more protectors and all. But I want them to take writs, notes of merit, things that only bureaucrats find value in. If there's a document that says that the Raven Guard will pay this much grain to this lord, well, no one can do anything except from us. That's useless to them. Well, except for forgeries, maybe. But
Assuming they can read.
that's true. Yes, that's also true. So whilst their cargo is still of great value, it's not gold. It's not things that when they go missing, they're gone into the ether. So all 3 of you will be out of Siegfried Haft taking different routes. The journey itself is going to be about 8 to 10 days. Maybe longer, depending on how hard you push. All your rations, all your supplies will be covered. The wagon with the gold in, it's a fortified wagon. All of them are the same. But you won't have any Raven Guards with you. There'll be someone to transport the actual, drive the bloody thing. But we're not putting Raven Guard on this. Now, my sergeants, who I trust in, and the Lord of Siegfried Haft, and the nobles, they don't like this idea. But I've got an aching feeling that something's not right. I don't know if you know this, but the people are scared. People are real scared, and I don't want them to feel as if the Raven Guard are not here to protect them. And at the moment I'm doubling up the guards. I may have to triple them.
Is this about the murderers?
The murder... They're excuse me for saying this, but they're peasant women. Murders do happen. Perhaps it was a client who got angry. It'd be impossible to find out who did it, really.
And never bothers the nobles. After all, what's one dead commoner against one of them dying?
He does give you a really apologetic look, but yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I'm sorry, I'm tripling the guard, well, doubling the guards, and I'm trying, but it's just a whole array of events. These bandit attacks are putting fear through the people. the murders are scaring people off. The attrition rate of that other warband is, they're new, so perhaps that their commander's a bit too gung ho. It's possible. More. I mean, I may have even been like that when I was younger, so I can't blame him. But it's just a daisy chain, if you see where I'm coming from. So that's why I'm turning to you, you fine people. The payment. You'll each be paid 100 gold. Well, I class you as the generals, as the sergeants, as the, your hirelings. I'll pay them 10 gold each. But you may get attacked on this. Prepare yourselves, because this, I don't know how it will go. I really can't tell you, like, if they may not even hit any of them. They may decide that these are, traps.
That sounds a tad too optimistic.
I like seeing the glass as being half full. It's a downfall, I know.
I mean, considering how intelligent they'd be to attack one of these, maybe they'll fall into a lake. I'm not sure they'd be able to swim.
I'm really hoping that they go after Damatus, because if they come in contact with the bloody rain, then my problems are over. That man's vicious and lethal in all sorts of ways, but he's probably also a criminal in a few provinces.
I mean, I'm sure there's at least one province I can let a criminal based on musical tastes.
Oh no, I imagine he's a criminal for murder, rape, and all sorts of hideous things, but the man gets results, and he hasn't hurt any civilians in, a good 5 years? Oh no, 3 years. He knocked that guy's, all his teeth out, but he had it coming, kind of.
Then it's a good thing that that's the case. No one's come forth to try and claim a bounty.
Yet.
He laughs. He actually, full on belly laughs. I would love to see that happen. Oh, by the throne. That would be probably the most amusing thing I've seen in a lifetime. To see a bunch of hardened bounty hunters turn and run.
I'd be more concerned with cleaning the blood up after he makes the mess. Those poor guards.
I'm telling you, that man's lost a lot of scruples diving into Mordheim, but somehow he's still with it enough to know right from wrong. Well, at least nowadays, but so essentially once all three warbands are joined, you'll be heading out. So the next 3 days, maybe 2, it depends on when Damatus and he looks through some paperwork, and a lot of paperwork actually, and ruffles around, and there it is. Eric. Yeah. Eric comes back with the, and as he says Eric, he kind of says it in a derogative way, like the look on his face is just It's not a name for a noble warrior.
It's lacking the end title, like Eric the Great.
Well, it's Eric Malleus, but
That's the flair.
He needs to earn himself a title. Then his name might be worthy.
He needs to start polishing his armor, if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there.
Since when do you care about fancy titles?
If you live long to earn a title, you live long to prove your mettle.
I suppose.
And most titles tell you who someone is. You know if you can trust someone based on if he has a name such as of the Black Hand. Usually that means you can't.
Look, you don't know you can trust someone till you've been on with them on a long haul sail. I'll tell you, the things people did on that ship.
Billy Bob, are you with the group? Hang on.
Pardon?
Are you with the group? Did you come with them after lunch to the Raven Guard to hear about this mission?
Nope.
No? Okay. So he
Damn it, Billy Bob.
so he actually goes into his drawer and he pulls out 5 bags. I guess you'll have to give this to Billy Bob. I'll trust that none of you will shortchange him. And it appears as if you've been paid up front for this mission.
100 gold up front.
Get another 100 and maybe you can get yourself a pistol.
Now I will point out that get yourselves in order. He actually gives you a really dour look. I hope I get to see you all again, but make preparations. You will be going into battle after all. And they know that there's a decent prize. Oh, of course. Try and bring some prisoners back. It would be handy to know where the hell their hideout is.
We'll attempt to do such a thing. It'll depend on when they attack. After all, if they attack halfway through the journey, keeping a prisoner alive may be difficult. But if they're foolish enough to attack at the start or the end, we may be able to change our timing so that they can be interrogated.
Fair enough, but I will let you know. I've got no hope of Damatus keeping any hostages or any prisoners. I don't know about the wolf. Maybe they can, but
Why don't you tell him if he keeps one alive, he'll get to kill the rest?
it doesn't matter. I've tried everything. He'll promise you the world until he gets into combat and he goes berserk, and next thing you know, he only cares about chopping down his enemy and cleaving them in twain. And
Sounds like a pretty single-minded individual.
you'd think that, but somehow he keeps in his mind enough he'll push forwards, but not so far that he's fucked. I don't know how he does it, but born warrior, I guess.
Well, then we should best go prepare for the journey.
By all means, be prepared to leave in 2 to 3 days.
So, our character, how much did we get each?
100, and Bill and Ted got 10 each.
100 gold, so is that?
Yes, and you'll probably get it, if you're like asleep on the bed, you'll get it in a gold bag dropping on your head.
I'll take
I
Billy
Bob's
Bob's.
sleep, but not there.
I'll take Billy Bob's charge personally because I do believe I'm the only one that's not racist against him and is.
I'm not racist. I'm just, it's the fact of he's been acting really stupid.
And I've been covering it for him, so I'll take the cash and give it
Hey.
to him.
I'm not going to drop it from a high height. I'm going to drop it from like maybe an inch, just enough to shake him awake.
Still. I would
Also,
have taken the
I
gold.
found out what happened to my movement. I'd had a bit of my weight in wrong, and it put me into 1 encumbrance, which dropped my movement.
Ah. Oh.
So it's nice to know the encumbrance works.
Yeah, that's quite nice that the actual character sheet will. Ooh, cool.
Yeah, the character sheet does everything there.
Yeah,
It's
if you-
rather nice.
If you open up my character sheet and just put like a 1 in healing drought, so it says that I have, so it says that the weight is 10 it'll show you my encumbrance go up to 1. And then you can check my movement, it'll go down to 4.
I mean, I will add this now, because the encumbrance, some items don't really make sense of their encumbrance. Healing items, you don't need to worry too much. If you,
They don't have a weight.
as long as I'll also put that to the vials, the alcohol as well. As long as you're not carrying like 40 of them with you, you know, if each person carries 10, sure, put 5 encumbrance for all 10. But if you've just got like 5 vials on you, yeah, don't worry about it. There was something else I was going to count. Oh yeah, don't worry about putting encumbrance for your rations either, because that at one point can start adding up when you're like, oh, I've got 10 rations per person. Don't worry about that. But with your armor and weapons and things of that nature, we will keep encumbrance, because that is something that at one point, can I take all this loot and get away from the explosion in time? Probably not. I've got to drop something.
Why explosion?
Because it's manly.
Because eventually we're going to get gunpowder, and gunpowder explodes when you ignite it. And yes, because you've also got to remember, are you going to look at the explosion? The answer is no, because you're cool.
So what we will do is, I imagine that Lysiara will give Billy Bob his gold.
I will.
So we will end the episode off there. Everyone will get their usual 100 XP. So thank you everyone for joining us here in the Dumbass class as we play Warhammer Fantasy. I look forward to seeing you next time. So take care and bye bye.